Hey, we are here.
Hey,
Welcome to That Part Podcast. We are back at it. Brought to you by High Low News, South Florida's hyperlocal news, and JustVotePeriod.com. I'm your host, Papa Keith from 1035 The Beat, affectionately known there. You know what I mean? You can check me out on the radio there from 3 to 7 p.m. And the amazing host over there, the beautiful one herself, Janae Tate from High Low News, South Florida's hyperlocal news. You know what I mean? She's not only the sponsor, but she's the host too. You know what I mean? What's up, JT?
hey, PK, what's up?
Good. We got an amazing guest today.
Yes, I mean, I don't even want to hold the people up too much longer because the way we kicked off episode one, this is only the best way to kick off our first, solo guest, elected official that's coming on the show. Like, I think y'all in for a treat.
Yeah, you definitely are, man. This is a big deal. So, can I start with the accolades and the bio and the intro?
Yes, let's introduce our guest that's coming on today.
All right, let's do it. All right, Chairman Oliver Gilbert is his middle name, the third. All right, let's get it in. Chairman Gilbert is a proud graduate of Florida A&M University, where he earned his Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice. Upon graduating, he enrolled in law school at St. Thomas University of Law. He later transferred to the University of Miami School of Law, where he held a Senate position at the Student Bar Association and was the national board member of the Black Law Student Association, among other accolades. Upon the successful earning of his Juris Doctorate with honors, Chairman Gilbert knew his calling was public service, and that it was because he is the chairman of the County of Commissioners for Miami-Dade County. Oliver Gilbert, the chairman, is in the building.
Hey, let's cue that intro music. Let's get them in.
No doubt, man. Big shout out to
Oh, wait, turn around.
I am
Oh,
dead. I am dead. I love this.
How you make an entrance on a like Zoom thing? I think you just turn the chair around. You just turn it on around.
I love it. You did that. Welcome, Chairman. How you doing?
Cue his music, PK. Do we got the music?
They didn't pull out the stick.
The music's on. The music's on. We got this.
It shouldn't have been like they not like us. Walk.
No, we have to do the dreams and nightmares. Your song. That's what we got going on right now.
I used to break times like this to rhyme like this, so I had to rhyme like that, to shine like this. The amount of time I spent on some locked up in the back of the Patty White and cuffs locked on wrists. Yeah, there's nothing wrong ever with the little dreams and nightmares.
That's what's up, man. Listen, let's get this party started. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on That Part Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Chairman.
It's my pleasure. It's always good, PK. Always good to see you, Janae, JT. It's always, I learned during the intro that I've known high low, where I never knew it was hyper local.
Really?
I never heard it was just high low. I was like, sometimes we go high, sometimes we go low.
And somebody told me that before. They thought that's what the name of the publication was. I was like, no, it's short for hyperlocal.
Like maybe you was like being on your Michelle Obama tip, like when they go high, we go high. No,
I'm not that good of a person. We go low. You go low, I go to hell.
Yeah, when you go to low, we digging ditches together. You're gonna keep that
part.
You're keeping that same energy. We're going to the same energy. We both going to heaven, or we both not.
Exactly. This is why we be here, Chairman. This is why we be here.
Yeah, people don't understand.
That's what's up, man. Janae, let's get this party started, man.
Yeah, Chairman, I'm so glad to have you on the show. We go back about 15 years now, and I've just seen your journey from councilman to mayor to commissioner to chairman. Who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit, the way your projection has been. And so it's been really amazing to see your career as a public servant. And for us, the purpose of this podcast and a big part of it is making sure we share the importance of voting. And this election season, especially 2024, is so crucial. We already know what's going on the presidential level, but there's a lot of stuff going on the state level, local level as well. And so before we even get into the nitty gritty of some of the direct questions that we wanted to ask you about being a commissioner, I wanted you to share with people the importance of voting in this upcoming election, especially the primary election, because I think some people forget about that one as well. They just think it's all about November, but in Florida, we have primaries.
Janae, it's everything. I mean, so I spend a good amount of my time actually just listening and talking to people. And they talk to me about all these different issues. They'll talk to me about zoning for their house and how they open up a business. Women will talk to me a lot about their right to choose to make medical decisions about their body. People will talk to me about recreational marijuana. You know, they'll talk to me about gambling. They'll talk to me about all these things. You're talking about it. The time you need to talk about it is when you actually go to the ballot box and you vote about it.
That part.
Look,
part.
Just because you aren't interested in voting doesn't mean those votes won't affect you. They're going to affect you. They're going to affect you. We haven't seen government and politics and policy like this. So there are clear choices. I love it when people say to me, oh, yeah, you know, I don't like anybody. Well, vote for the person you dislike the least. Because in truth, you need to figure it out, man. Because we're living in a time where, you know, where people actually say, you know what, we're not going to vote. We're not. I'm good. And those same people complain about Ron DeSantis right now. I don't want to hear that. I told y'all to vote. Y'all didn't vote. That man's the governor. He get to do the things he's doing because the law allows him to do it because he's the elected governor of the state of Florida. Elections do have consequences. You don't want to be one of those consequences. And right now, we are becoming a consequence of our inactivity. We're becoming a consequence of our complacency. We're becoming a consequence of our abandonment of the fight that our ancestors gave their lives for. We're becoming a consequence of that. How we live is becoming a consequence of that. The fact that they can't teach accurate Black history in Florida is a consequence of that.
That part.
I do not blame them. I don't blame them. People gonna do what they gonna do. You do your job. Your job is to get up and advocate for you. Your job is to advocate for your rights. Your job is to advocate for your children and their education and health care. That's your job. That is your job. Do your job. Let them do what they're going to do. And when you say, well, you know what? I'm not going to vote because it ain't going to count. Well, if you don't vote, it definitely won't count. Well, if you don't vote, it definitely won't count. The power of one vote when aggregated with the power of another vote has been transformative in this country. And that's not just in the presidency. That's not just for governor. That's just local offices too. So when you want your kids to have programs on parks, your city council members and mayors decide that. When you want garbage to be picked up, your mayors and county commissioners decide that. When you want rapid mass transit, your county commissioners and mayors and state legislators decide that. Decide what you want and vote for the people who are talking the same thing. That's what you do. And you all stand together shoulder to shoulder. You'd be surprised the change that can occur when we actually touch, agree, and work. You'll be surprised.
Well said, man. And we appreciate you, Chairman. You've always, this is nothing new for you, and I can attest to that. And it's so funny because you taught me something, and I actually used that in another podcast that I was doing when you said, like, well, if you don't like anybody, vote for the least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used that literally today at somebody else's podcast. So
Look,
thank
PK,
you so
like
much.
in the 90s when you was going to the club, the girl you talked to might not have been the prettiest girl, just might have been the most perfectly beautiful girl, but she was the prettiest one there. Well, vote for the least ugly one.
Oh God! Look, but what you're saying is like non-participation is not an option, especially for people that look like us.
Listen, I love the fact that people who are telling you that your vote doesn't count are all voting. I want you to make the math make sense for me. Well, if it don't count, why they voting? If what don't count, why none of us ain't voting? They're voting.
Right.
There's this amazing statistic this guy talks about, because we think about Congress, we think about, well, it's pretty evenly split. And so you think that it's that the opinions in America is equally divided. That's not true. But because the states where all the people are voting a very specific way, in the states that get representation based on the fact that our Constitution says that you get to have 2 senators no matter how big your state is. Look, it's more people in Miami Gardens than it is in Wyoming.
Wow.
Not literally, but it's close.
Yeah.
North Dakota, South Dakota, they get 2 senators just like everybody else.
And it's funny you mentioned that state with that lady who came out of that state talking crazy.
But
talking
you can't,
crazy. Not if you don't like it, leave black people.
Yeah, they don't have to deal with the diversity, the beauty, the extraordinary thing that is America, that like us finding ways to live together, us finding ways to build pathways to and up to the American dream for everybody. They don't have to live with that because they don't live in that type of place. What I'm saying is America is not as divided as our politics would reflect. But our Constitution actually says, hey, representation, and I'll take that. I'm not trying to change the Constitution because it still works for us if you get up and you vote. It still works for us if you get up and you advocate. It still works for us. So I'm not going to blame anybody in a different state. I'm not going to blame a president for who wants to be president again. I ain't going to blame a governor for anything he does because they participated in a process. They participated in the process, and we have the opportunity to participate also. The government won't fail us. We'll fail ourselves by not participating.
That part.
Love it. That was, I love the way you broke that down, and I hope the people are listening to like exactly what you're saying because is real talk. And you talked about like very practical things, and I feel like a lot of times, some of our elected officials, they keep it kind of like out there. It's very meta, very like, it's like you said, like, you want your street, you want a train, you want this, like, this is how this gets done. So thank you for breaking that down for us.
Yeah.
And I want to go into my next question for you. Speaking of elections, you actually just won re-election unopposed. So congratulations. Cue the if we had a soundboard, it would be yay.
I think I got something.
Oh,
not that. Not that. Yay!
Yay!
Y'all know y'all ain't gonna stop me. I started dancing now. I started dancing. Listen, now I did. I won unopposed. It was really great because I've had really hard elections. And but through being mayor of Miami Gardens, through being mayor of Miami Gardens, I came onto the county commission and I instantly became the vice chairman. And I started working not just for the residents of District 1, because District 1 is my district, but when you're elected as a county commissioner, you're elected for the best interests of the county. I start working on things like rapid mass transit. I start working on things like housing policies. I start working on things like getting security guards paid sick leave because these people couldn't even not come to work when they were sick during the COVID time because they wouldn't get paid. I mean, I started working on things that actually meant something to people. And so I was sitting back waiting to see who was going to file. The deadline came, nobody filed. And I was really, really, really happy because, I don't have to be out there, working for my candidacy, but I'll still be out there trying to help good candidates. And I'll still be out there trying to push a ballot initiative that asks one simple question: do we need to expand our rapid mass transit in Miami-Dade County? That's going to be on the ballot in August. So I'll still be out there working. But it wasn't some sort of a validation that in a district this big, with this many elected officials and this many diverse opinions, nobody put their name on the ballot. And so I appreciate their confidence. I appreciate the additional 4 years. My vow is to keep working. My vow is that you will probably not always, people never just agree with 100% of things I do. But I promise you, I'll be able to explain everything I do. And everything I do is measured, deliberate, intentional. It's aimed at actually improving us right now, and not just right now, but in the future. Because far too often, we focus on things that work right now. We need to be planning for the next 30, 40, 50 years in Miami-Dade County. We need to plan for our kids. What's going to be their transit? What's going to be their housing? What's going to be their job opportunities? What their education is going to look like? We need to make those plans. If we don't make those plans, who's going to make them? We just going to be lucky and it's going to work out. That ain't something. That ain't how that works. So we need to start that conversation. I'm happy to be a leader, a policymaker, a part of a team that's actually having that conversation.
Now you talk about District 1, right? Can you explain to our audience who may not understand what areas does District 1 cover?
Opelika, Miami Gardens, Country Club of Miami, and the part that's west, almost to 75. California Club. Yeah.
All right.
So east, west, north, a little south. It's pretty wide. It's pretty wide, not necessarily that deep, but I have a pretty diverse population. And so Miami Gardens, of course, is a big part of it. Opalaka is a big part of it. A country club, California club, and they all have very different interests, very different concerns. And so it's given me opportunity to interact with a vast number of people. I interact with the folks on the west side who their quality of life, they're mainly in unincorporated Miami-Dade County. They have traffic concerns, the country club of Miami's the golf course out there, the lights, speeding, things that they talk to me about. On the east, their parks and speeding along 199th Street, and then Miami Gardens, development of infrastructure, Opalaka helping with water. So there's a lot of different. It's giving me an opportunity to actually work on a diverse array of issues to actually interact with our residents in our community.
Gotta say a special thanks to you on the note of talking about District 1. We did the People Manifest in District 1.
Yes.
Rave reviews. Everyone loved the location. Everyone loved it in District 1. Sorry we backed up I-95 for a bit, but it was for a great cause. And I just want to thank you for extending that invitation to the People Manifest, man.
Backing up Miami, I-95 for a bit to actually triumph and talk about nonviolence and stopping violence and the virtue of that. It's worth it. We back it up for football games. We back it up for basketball games. We back it up with knuckleheads can't just drive and ignore traffic on the other side of I-95 that's not even obstructing them. So we back it up for all those reasons. We can back it up when people are trying to come to and leave from an event that's going to say, hey, you know what? You don't need to pick up this gun. This gun ends the conversation, but not just for the person you shoot, but it ends the conversation for you too. It changes you in a way. So it was definitely well worth it.
And thank you so much, man. What is the role of a county commissioner? A lot of these questions, I know it's going to seem like, but
that's okay.
I want the average listener that doesn't know politics. That's what that podcast is about too. We just want to break it down and so even in layman's terms, tell us.
Miami-Dade County is like a $12 billion corporation.
12 billion.
$12 billion corporation. So our GDP is larger than like 20 states. So we're a significant thing. That the county commissioners, there's 13 of us from different areas. We're the people that sit as the board of directors. We make the policies for it. So we make the policies that control land use, what you can build, where you can build it. We make the policies that determine, how often the buses come, how we give you rapid mass transit. We have the fire department, the police department, the airport, the seaport. We have the Miami-Dade Water and Sewer, which controls a vast amount of the property in the area and how they receive water and how their sewer is disposed of. We do those things. And so the things that basically affect your day-to-day life, we have a big thing to say about. We have a lot to say about that. And so we work in conjunction with our partners in cities because if an area is a city, they're still in the county and they still depend on some things, but they provide some things. So we work in partnership with them. But we're the county government, we're the regional government who considers all those things. And so I think a lot of times people don't understand just how important your county commissioners are, your county mayor is, our mayor, Daniela Levine Cabo, how important it is to have a mayor that actually goes from Homestead to Miami Gardens, from Miami Beach to West Dade. I mean, because the vastness of this county, the diversity of its needs are extraordinary. And I've had an opportunity to address a lot of these as chairman, because I'm not just regional, I'm someone who actually sits at the top of the leadership team. We're all leaders. I sit at the top of the leadership team. I came in as vice chair and now I'm the chair. And so it's really a breathtaking thing when you actually talk to people and when they stop you and they hug you and they cry about the decisions you made, because you realize that you were making decisions that for the best interest of the county, but you have a very personal and intimate effect on someone. And that's important to know, that they are people. And I never forget that. And even if it seems like, hey, he's being hard, sometimes the answer is going to be no. Mm-hmm. In the real world, sometimes the answer is going to be no. I think part of the problem with politics is that the people who vote got used to the people who asked for their votes, always telling them they could have everything and always saying yes, and then it not coming true. And so what I vowed to do when I first started in politics, city council, is I'm just going to tell you, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do, or I don't know. And if I have to do something different, I'll come back and tell you why I changed, because no plan is perfect. And so that type of candor and transparency, and listen, people like Janae, they've known me for a while, for better or worse. If I give my words, you can set a clock by it.
That part.
So if I say it's a fight, it's a fight. If I say I'm going to make this right, that is my earnest desire. I'm going to try to make it right. And if I can't, I'll explain it to you. Hey, listen, this is what I tried. This is what I tried. I tried everything. It's not going to work out. Let's see if we can do this a different way. You need that type of candor. What's happened is people have lost faith. They've lost faith because people would say, oh, yeah, you can have it and you don't have to pay for it. Listen, y'all stop. Everything you get, it's going to be paid for. Period.
One way or the other.
In that.
One way or the other.
And so let's start having those honest, transparent conversations with people. And stop assuming that they're dumb. They're not dumb. They know that when you say that we can have everything, we can't have everything. If we could really have everything, we have it already. So they know that. And so I just try to be that type of candid with the public. And some people appreciate it, some people don't, but it's consistent.
It's so funny because the follow-up question I was going to ask is, why should people care? But I think you've answered that already, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
And I wanted to ask, because we're calling you chairman. You were the vice chairman. I want people to understand what that role is and why that's significant as well.
Well, so the chairman of the county commission chairs all the meetings. They decide what gets on the agenda, and they work with the mayor to design things that legislation as it comes from commissioners to the board to vote on. And so the chairperson of the county commission is a uniquely powerful position. And so I've been very, very intentional about being very judicious in how I use that power, because I think that all of my colleagues on the county commission, they were elected for us to hear their voices. They were elected to be a part of a conversation, a larger conversation that aggregates all of their thoughts and feelings with everyone else's on the board and comes up with a policy that's representative and worthy of the 2.7 million people who live here. And so that is what I've tried to do. And I think we've had a pretty successful board. And listen, I think proof of our success now is that we have 4 county commissioners for the first time, I believe ever, that was elected unopposed. Myself, Keone McGee, Eileen Higgins, and now we just found out today Renee Garcia. And so 4 of us were elected unopposed. And I don't claim that we're perfect, but I think that we are working for the county, and we do a very good job of communicating what it is we're working on.
That part.
Boy, can we have that sound like wah, 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 wah? I'm just obsessed with that sound from They Not Like Us. I'm obsessed with that.
Everyone is with that song right now. My goodness.
Yeah, no, it's listen, did you see the live show? It was
that was pretty dope, man. On Juneteenth.
It's probably A minor. That was hilarious.
Yeah, man. He shot the music video for that. It's gonna be coming out soon. Can't wait.
Dude. Yeah, I don't know what you all think, but that's the best diss track since Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, which I think was probably the best diss track ever.
I thought Drake's back-to-back was good too against your boy Meek Mill.
I don't know. It was good. But the best diss track to me in history was Tupac Hit 'Em Up. First, the intro of Tupac just exploding.
But this is number 2. This is a good number 2. And I will put like top 3. I'll put Drake as 3. But it's like They Not Like Us is really.
Yeah.
I mean, this song was so good. I saw a video with Drake singing it on stage.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, he was doing the most. He actually he said pedophile, and he was he was into it. I'm like, dude, you're doing too much right now.
Ain't no way. You ain't gonna drag me and I'm gonna co-sign it.
Okay.
I think he need a hug.
He need more than a hug.
Because, that ain't right, y'all. Like, that ain't right.
It ain't. You know what? I think it's a really good transition that we talk about they not like us and talking about, I wanted to know just from you as an elected official and a public servant, and you talked about like not everybody agreeing with you. I want to know from you, is it necessary or is it something that's needed as an elected official to be like to do your job efficiently? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'll say this and I'll give a little insight. You and I don't always agree. We've had
No.
times where we did not speak. And I know some people think like, oh, it's
Oh,
really
you
not
too,
like
Oliver?
we will he will get me together. I will tell speak my piece. But one thing I always tell people, I said, you can never ever say you don't know where you stand with Chairman Gilbert. He's honest. And I said, I'll take that any day over somebody who blows shit up. I mean, smoke up my ass.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll take that any day because a lot of people they like to do the nice thing. And like you were saying, like you'll tell your constituents, no, we can't do this because XYZ. So I want to get your thoughts on like the likability of elected officials and if that's needed.
Right? Because I don't think I've ever been the person who was over. Not I'll couch this. There's some people who like love me. I get hugs walking through stores. But I think the one of the issues is that we hear from the people who don't like you a lot more. So people who love you don't show up on their page to just, shower praise on you. People who hate you, they trash you all the time. And so my theory had always been is that, look, I've been off the race since 2003. And I never sought being liked. I always intentioned myself to be good. And I think that sometimes people confuse a nice person with a good person. I'm comfortable that I'm a good person. I'm making decisions that I think are in the best interest of the people. They're not self-centered. They're not selfish. I admit when I'm wrong to people. I take counsel. I reshape my ideas because I'm purpose-driven, not necessarily method-driven. And so I can do that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to always be nice. I can be a good person without being a nice person. You can be a nice person without being a good person. And I think that sometimes people miss that. And so I think that nice, when you're asking for people's votes, you're asking for their support. I think being nice and being liked has a place. I just think how we measure that is always kind of strange because we measure it like, I always thought it was interesting when I was mayor of Miami Gardens, people would show up and there'd be 10 people who show up and they would yell at you in public comment about something. And people would say, well, they came there, people spoke against it, and you did it anyway. I said it was 10 of them. There's 120,000 people. That means 119,990 were cool with it. 119,990 either participated or didn't, but they believed in a process that allowed them not to have to come to every meeting. That allowed them to elect people who they think represent their ideas, their values, and trust them to govern. If they didn't like it, then they got a chance to vote against them. I've always been okay with you not voting for me if you didn't. If you disagree with stuff I'm doing, okay, it is what it is. There's some people who won't agree with me. When we made changes in Miami Gardens, I love the fact that people talk about Miami Gardens being an all-American city and the businesses opening and development and all this stuff. I love the fact that people talk about that now because when I was doing it, people were criticizing me and yelling at me and telling me not to do it.
That's true.
So I remember that. The same people still talking. They kept talking. I kept working. I took in their input. I listened to it. Okay, I believe that this is what I ran saying I was going to do. I'm going to do it. You all are telling me I'm not going to be reelected. Well, we're going to see.
Right. How do you, with all the pressures, right, of being, let's talk about it from councilman to mayor to vice chair to chair. How do you feel about therapy? Like on that level, this is Men's Mental Health Month as well. You don't have to tell me whether you actually go to therapy or not, but just tell me how you feel about it.
No, I think that maintaining your mental health is very important. And I think it's been taboo in minority communities, not just the Black community, but minority communities too often. Look, you should go to the doctor for your body. You should also go to the doctor for your spirit and your mind. You need to do that. And so I think one of the things that we neglect the most is how emotionally healthy we are, how mentally healthy we are. Look, I have an ability to be compartmentalized. I understand to a certain degree that's healthy, some certain degree it's not. But I also understand that not talking about things is not the answer. So my vow in every aspect of my life is you won't ever accuse me of under communicating something. You will know exactly how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. You will know. Friends, family, you will know. If I'm not going to be the person who holds everything in and strokes out.
Oh,
that's not going to be me. No, I'm going to tell you. But the also thing is I get over stuff pretty quickly. So if we're arguing and we argue, we just feel like Janae and I do argue because she's wrong a lot. So
whatever. Whatever.
You
was wrong for going to New Orleans. You was wrong for going to New Orleans.
PK, stop, Janae, stop. Don't let the devil use you. PK, you can identify with she's wrong a lot, right? So we disagree. So
you ain't. I got to do several series with her, sir.
I'll be like, oh, Janae, we good. We good. I mean, Janae, I guess you can say I was wrong for going to New Orleans. You went to Carroll City and Northwestern, so you double wrong.
No, I'm a double winner. I'm a double winner.
You know what they call a double winner? Yeah, no, you're a loser. No.
Spoken like a true loser Viking.
No, listen, let me just say this because the Bulls are going to see this. The Chiefs are going to see this. I'm joking. I love y'all. We good. We
you
chill.
already know you better straighten it up.
We chill. I don't want that smoke on my Instagram page. Y'all stay off my page with that nonsense. Don't get restricted. Don't get restricted.
Our producer is a Viking. She's like not too much on her school, so I got both of y'all coming at me right now.
Yeah, no, you can't stop. I mean, but it's cool. In truth, I think the pride we have in our schools is healthy because pride you have in your schools is a form of pride you have in your community.
Yeah,
your community of people, and so we actually need more of that. One of the things that I talk about from Northwestern is that we wouldn't have Black leadership in South Florida if it weren't from Northwestern. Just period. It started with them, and their level of pride, their level of strength. I mean, it's even if I don't agree with them all the time, I admire that because we need that type of togetherness. We need the type of strength. We need the type of pride. You can't be like, oh, you can't think less of yourself. You can't think you ain't the bomb and expect somebody else to think you're doing good stuff. No, you need to speak up for yourself. And so my dad went to Northwestern. And a lot of the funny thing about Northwestern and New Orleans is a lot of people who graduated from Northwestern had kids who went to New Orleans because of the natural migration of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They all moved to this area.
Plus, you had more Jamaican friends.
Yeah, yes.
Because they definitely in the New Orleans area.
Okay.
I have a lot of Jamaican friends. So, but we just had our picnic. I'm proud to be a Viking. Previously, the picnic in Carroll City, I was happy to go out there and celebrate with the Chiefs. And the Bulls are coming up, and that's going to be an epic experience, as it always is, because they have so much more alumni. Because remember, Northwestern, for a while, look, Carroll City wasn't always a Black school. New Orleans wasn't always Black. Mm-hmm. Relatively recently, they weren't. Carroll City, I mean, Northwestern has been having Black alumni since the 50s.
Wow.
So the lineage is strong, and we wouldn't be where we are in Miami-Dade County, Black Miami-Dade County specifically without them. So I appreciate
that part.
The Bulls are going to be putting all type of blue and gold hearts under this post because you just gave them a lot. But I mean, that's real talk. And even just to speak to, even though we have our friendly rivalries, like what I see from the Black high schools in Miami-Dade County, I've never seen that camaraderie and connection and community anywhere else in the country. Like my fiance, he's from New York. He doesn't even grasp the concept of us still going to alumni picnics. He's like, I haven't seen people I went to high school with since I left that school. He's like, y'all still care? I'm like, it's a lifestyle for us. And we go to each other picnics because, like you said, of the mixing and migration. You may have friends that went to the West or New Orleans or Jackson or Central, Carroll City. Like we all are like one big family.
Look, and this might, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about, well, they said Northwestern has the strongest Black alumni, and I said, you know another public high school in Miami-Dade County with a strong alumni association in Northwestern? Black, white, Hispanic, pick one. I don't know one.
Yeah.
I don't know one. I don't know one. Listen, I think that you could actually Northern Carroll City, we had to be together. We had to stick together. And so our alumni associations are different. They're different because of that reason. We're bonded in different ways. We still hang out. We still talk to each other. We're still friends on social media. We ain't got to look for each other. I know where they at. Look, the people I went to high school, it's easy. I saw them today. They stopped by the office. Hey, dude, what you doing? I'm working. But yeah, so they gonna stop by. They stopping by. So it's that's who we are. And I appreciate that because listen, the composite that allowed me, of all the influences that allowed me to become a regular kid from Miami Gardens, to go to FAMU, to come to St. Thomas and Road, do well, transfer to the University of Miami, but graduate while I'm catching the bus in the Metrorail to law school, become a legislative aide for Dorothy Bendross-Mendenhall, a prosecutor in Broward County, a partner in a law firm, a city councilman, a city mayor, the commissioner. That's because of all the different things, the Beverly Wanton Currys, who's my journalism teacher in high school, Miss Link, my English teacher, wasn't even that nice to me and tried to fail me. Mr. Farber, my AP history.
She tried to fail you?
Yeah, she did. She told my mom she was going to fail me. I was like, Mom, stop listening to that lady. She crazy. My coaches, John Osborne, Lewis Allen, we just honored him. I could not be the person I am. We were talking about Coach Allen. When I played football at New Orleans, he would make us try to push the wall. We'd have to block against the wall, try to actually move the wall. We were so dumb. We thought we could move the wall. So we didn't stop. We didn't stop trying. We kept trying to move the wall. The thing is this, the wall never moved, but it taught us never to give up. We didn't give up. And so when I talked at our picnic this weekend, I said, hey, listen, that wall, you wasn't teaching me to be a football player in the NFL. You was teaching me character and strength and fortitude. That's what we were learning. And those are the type of things that we tie back to our high school experiences. When I talked to Lee from Carroll City, I talked to Dewey and those folks from Northwestern, it's the same type of experience. Yeah. We didn't just learn, math and science and history and English. We learned other things. And then we're still a part of that greater community. So I appreciate that.
No, definitely. About 40 years ago, when the Metrorail, people were saying that it could come, and be expanded. And people have said before, wasn't there money set aside? What happened to that money? So are you saying that was never the case?
There was never,
because we all know where the Metrorail curves on 27th Avenue and 79th Street. No, and people were saying it was supposed to go to the end and something happened with the money, and that's why it never
there was never money set aside for it. There was never money set aside for it. People talk about the half penny and what the half penny generates. And so the challenge with that is that there was never enough money for the half penny to actually produce all of the things that were on the list. But if you looked at it, and we were none of us were in public service, and most of us were just kids. So it's interesting that initially they didn't want a half penny because they knew they couldn't complete the projects with a half penny. They needed a whole penny. That the political compromise was a half penny. That was the political compromise. And in compromising the amount, they didn't speak honestly to what that amount would have to reduce in the projects. And then other things happened, like the Great Recession happened when buses needed to still run because people still needed to get to work, but you couldn't raise property taxes to run the buses. So you use a little bit more of the half penny there to maintain the system that you have. And so I understand that. I don't criticize people in the past for doing that because I remember how tough that was for folks, right? And so it's easy to sit here now and look back and say, oh, they were wrong and they did this and they did that. But the truth is that they did the best they could in the time that they had with the facts that they were given. And so it's incumbent on us to do the same right now. And that's what I'm trying to do.
That's what's up. Chairman, we're going to shift gears to Miami Gardens. There's some mixed responses from people in the community about elected officials, specifically from Miami Gardens, who party and dance at a lot of public events, yet feel there's nothing being celebrated when it comes to crime, affordable housing, and small business development in their community. What would you say in general about that?
Well, I don't even know what that question is. I don't know what they're saying, and I think it's probably, when you say there's mixed feelings. I was just outside earlier today, and someone was telling me they were happy with the number of businesses that were opening. I would note that when I was mayor of Miami Gardens, businesses opened at an exponentially increasing rate every year. That we went from being the seventh most dangerous city in America on the FBI's list to not being in the top 300. So, I don't, and from a housing perspective, Miami Gardens is a single family home community generally. We start building density, and that's important. But the same people who are complaining about housing prices are complaining about density also. So it's very challenging, because what brings down housing prices is simply supply and demand. The more supply you have, if you balance supply with demand, you can stabilize costs. But if demand is up here and supply is down here, then costs are always going to be high. So, I appreciate what they're saying. And to the extent that there are people who are going to always criticize, I would note that Miami Gardens is still a relatively young city. And if you look at the progress of Miami Gardens, in the first 20 years of Miami Gardens' existence, we were designated an all-American city, going from some place that people said couldn't succeed to some place that was literally an all-American city. And so I appreciate the critics and the people who are always going to be against the politicians who are in power because they aren't in power. But listen, what was that thing? It's not the critic that counts, not the man who points out where the strong man stumbles or how the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's in the arena. So I'm prone not to actually criticize them. I know that since I've been a county commissioner, I sent about $30 million back here to start a performing arts center, because I don't care what people said, we're going to keep on building. They're still building out the general obligation bond where the parks are going up. So you have kids learning robotics on Bunch Park before, where kids were being shot. They are learning to build cars in a building that's state of the art where people were being shot at. I was on the park when they shot at Bunch Park. So I can appreciate people saying nothing's changed, but the facts kind of belie that.
Thank you for clearing that up. And before we let you go, we wanted to end on a light note. PK is in music. I'm a millennial, so hip hop definitely influences the culture and the way I grew up and how I live my life. And so you love hip hop, and everybody that knows you knows that you are a big fan. We've even talked about it, Meek Mill, a couple of times. But I wanted to give you a chance to kind of explain to us, like, what is it about that particular song, Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill, that like really resonates with you? Like, because it seems to me it's not just about like just turning up. It seems like to me he's speaking to something deeper to you about this. I wanted to know, like, what is it about that song that you like? That's my.
The song has a little bit of everything. The song has poetry in it. It has natural violence in it. The song has everything. It has passion in it. It's a ballad, and at the same time, it's something you can dance to. The song literally has everything. The transitions in the song are brilliant. I believe it to be one of the best rap songs of all time. One of. And so I think that Dreams and Nightmares, it's an anthem. I believe it is an anthem. And I think that Meek has made a lot of good music, but nothing like that. But nothing like that. And so it is something that I listen to a lot of different types of music. And it's not just hip hop. My playlist, if you listen to my playlist, you think I need therapy, because it's that eclectic. I have gospel followed by Meek Mills, followed by, I got Carly Simon on there, Let the River Run. I got all type of, I got all type of stuff on this playlist. But the music that I listen to, it speaks to the diversity that exists in me. So I was not necessarily raised to be just one thing. I wasn't raised to just be a football player. I played football in high school. I was also a poet. I went to law school, but I worked on a television show. So I wasn't raised to be that one thing. And I think that song has that type of energy in it. It embraces a lot of different parts. I think it's brilliantly written and composed, and I'm appreciative of it. So, and I think one of the things also with hip hop that we'll face, and I think you see the country facing it, and sometimes Black elected officials and Black leaders have a problem doing this. Everybody's allowed to embrace their type of music and their culture but us. And so that's not going to be me. Luther Campbell's my friend. I appreciate his work. You know, we had fun, we danced at his parties. Just because say something in a song don't mean you're going to do it in your real life. The same way all that stuff in those country songs don't mean other people doing it in their real life. It's music and entertainment. It can be that way for everybody. And so we need to embrace that. And if it's just a song, if it's just a movie, let it be a song and let it be a movie, just like it is for everyone else. So I'm not going to ask for anything special. I'm just going to ask for the sameness of it all, the sameness. So you don't get to pick on hip hop as being too violent and celebrate Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible movies. Because they're both killing people fictionally.
Yeah, that part.
So you really, and so we don't see it that way, but that's because one has become mainstream accepted. And listen, I love those movies too, but I'm not going to scale a mountain just because I saw him do it. I ain't going to stab nobody in the ear because I saw him do it. I'm not going to have a mask on and pull it off and it's like a lifeline just because I saw him do it. No, I'm going to be this regular kid from Miami Gardens who went to law school and is good at policy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that while I listen to hip hop and I watch those movies. And so I think that sometimes we have to explain it. And I don't think it should be explained because no one else does. No one else has explained their entertainment choices. And so, but I love that song. And it is definitely one of my favorite. But I will tell you, listen, Euphoria and Not Like Us are crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody told me to listen to Euphoria. I haven't listened to it yet, so I got.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, JT.
Yeah,
it goes.
Yeah, it's listen.
It's special.
It's special. Listen,
yeah.
I think somebody ought to like arrest Kendrick Lamar for black on black crime because what he did to that. I'm a Drake fan. Like, you know, headlines. I used to be too strung out on compliments, overdosed on confidence, started not to give. Yeah, I'm a Drake fan. That wasn't right, y'all.
Yeah, he gave it to him neatly.
He put his.
I'm gonna send it to you. He broke him down like so disrespectfully. So disrespectfully.
That's not God's will.
Chairman, I see you have on an amazing tie today. Traditionally, you've always been one to wear bow ties. Mm-hmm. Is this a change, or are you just fluxing between the both of them? Like, what's the vibe?
I'm doing both. I'm thinking about starting a tie line.
You should.
I had this tie made. I pick out fabric and have my ties made now, bow ties and neckties. So there's a little bottom one. It's an OG3.
I saw that when you. I saw that earlier.
Yeah, it's it's. I just like to try to find little ways to express who I am individually. And so I don't believe that I have to always, fit in necessarily. Everybody else, people want to fit in. God made us to stand out. God made us to stand out. If you want to be a leader, you want to fit in. Listen, it's okay to understand people, but I don't mind. I don't mind. Listen, I dance and I can't dance. People laugh at me. That's fine. I laugh at myself. It's okay. One of the things I think that we have, the problems that we have with kids, is that they're afraid to be laughed at, and then they react badly when they are.
Yeah.
Look, it's just what is laughing? What is that? I myself. Look at that fat guy dancing. I'm just dancing. I'm happy.
There seems to be a science behind almost everything you do. I can appreciate that. I'm going to tell you at first. When I first met you and didn't get to know you as well, I didn't get it, and then when I started to really get to know you, and I'm just being honest, I'm having a real moment. When I started to really get to know you, Janae will tell you, I was like, yo, I like him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it was certain key things that I look for that you just check those boxes. One, the smallest shit sometimes, right? One thing was that my ex-wife's mother is a deacon at a church, a very small church, right off the Palmetto and 12th, right? Okay. All right, and I know you know what I'm talking about. All right. If they got 20 people in there, you know what I'm saying? And you were there and you came and you spoke. And like things like that make a difference to me. It wasn't like you was like, how much people they got in the congregation? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like Bishop Curry called you. You like, yeah, for sure. Like I rate stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And when you get me like that, I'll defend you. Like there's nothing anybody can say, and I'll be like, nah, man. And Janae will tell you. So, that and a few other things that you've done besides coming through for me, you know what I'm saying, with people manifesting some really cool shit you've done, to help me out. Aside from that, right? Like those little things, those key little things that I've actually witnessed you do without even you knowing I'm watching or seeing is really where I'm allowed to be able to say, yo, I rock with that guy. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. And this is like being genuine. Like I am really, the reason I said just a regular here from Miami Gardens, I live in this house that I bought from my parents. I redid the house. My mom's house, my mom just passed away recently. She stayed over on 23rd Avenue. This is my home. And so I'm very comfortable just with people. I'm very comfortable in churches. I'm okay with talking to people. And sometimes I feel like, some leaders, they like talking to and not being with. I'm okay being with. I'm okay going to the picnic. You give me a red cup too. We good. Yeah, let's go. We gonna have fun together because ultimately that's part of being a part of a community.
Yeah,
and I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in Miami Gardens. I'm comfortable in Miami-Dade County because even as I traveled the entire county the last couple of years as chairman, what I found is they could be from Colombia, Venezuela, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, the Bahamas, to move here from Chicago, Atlanta, New York, LA. Virtually everyone wants the same thing. We might say it in different languages. You have a slightly different dialect, but everybody basically wants the same things. And so finding ways to actually do that is something that I'm cool with. Cool. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you. This is a good conversation. I feel like, you let people see, kind of what I see off, line. And I'm really glad that you brought that energy to the podcast. And I feel like that's what we need more from elected officials like you. So people my age and younger can relate and see like, oh, this person is cool like me. He like Meek Mill. He, into fashion and stuff like that. He could talk about the picnics, but he could go into talking about transportation and how that works. Like, I think you make it more accessible and relevant. And, I'm like PK said, I've been grateful for your friendship and mentorship over the years. And I just appreciate for everything that you poured into me. And I want to give you your flowers right now for what you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's important too that when you all are out, both of you all do a ton of community service. When y'all are talking to kids, let them know they don't have to be one thing or the other. They can be both. That they can like football and be a poet and be in politics. They can like hip hop and be in somebody's corporate boardroom. So we get this thing where we start choosing this or that. Well, we don't have a scenario. What if they choose that and not this? So what if they choose that? And so they don't have to be those one or two things. And I think that I hope that because I visit all our schools in my district, when I talk to kids, that's what I'm talking. Listen, I just want you to work hard. You can have these other interests. I'm not going to tell you got to be a singer or a scientist. You can be a singer and a scientist. Mm-hmm. You can do both those things. And so I think that's important. That's something that we can do, a message that we can try. And listen, what you all are doing, Just Vote, is important. It's important. It can't be, listen, voting can't just be something we talk about in an election year. It just can't be a fad.
That part.
You have to become invested in this process. Invested in the fact that if you believe, if we actually work together, we can effectuate change. We can effectuate change. If we actually do this together. And so you have to become invested in that. You become invested in that. And with PK and Janae, you become invested in that. And I become invested in it. We start working. We start talking. Even if we just add a person who believes a day. Look, the Catholic Church, one of the biggest institutions, one of the most powerful institutions in the world, was created on the road to Damascus with 12 people. A few people believing and working can change the world. You have to believe, You have to work. And so we just have to get back to that. We got to get back to that and stop thinking that someone's going to just, they're just going to do the right thing. The right thing that only gets done if we make them do it or we do it ourselves. So that's it.
Part. Man, right. That's a bar to leave it on. Yay! Yes.
All right, I'll see you all later. Thank you all for having me on.
Wait, we gotta tell people how to connect with you. We're all about the digital connection. How can people follow you? Social media? What
Gilbert 3. Gilbert 3 on Instagram. Gilbert on X, formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, and Oliver Gilbert on Facebook.
Yo,
Chairman Oliver Gilbert III in the building, man. For real. OG3, affectionately known as. Thank you once again. I mean, I guess I'll ask you because you see, I can never keep my, I go see my barber once a week. What are you doing, bro?
I shave. I shave every day. I shave my. So listen. This is what I did, PK. I couldn't afford to pay. They charge you $35 to give you a bald headcut.
If you lucky, I pay mine $50.
Dude,
what? Yeah,
you don't even
a week.
So he was cutting my hair that one last time a couple of years back, and I took a picture of his clippers. What are you doing? I'm taking a picture. I'm taking a picture. Took a picture of his shavers. And so I bought the things that they bought. The barbers, I'm about losing votes right now. So the barbers, I said, so I still got to take my son to get a haircut.
Right. So you still support.
But I'm not letting you charge me $35, $40 for a bald head.
I know, but it's the shape up for me really too. If I didn't have to then I would probably do what you do, honestly.
Yeah,
because I got to get this shaped up. I'm like, I give up.
Dude, I would think
it looks good. You're always clean, bro. Always.
If I were you, I'd start practicing. That's too much. but you know what? You still got that Maserati, so it's good.
Oh boy, here we go.
There you go. I just looked at my wrist. I got time today.
For the record, the first community event pop-up I ever did, Lake Lucerne. You were mayor at the time.
Yeah.
OG3, thank you very much. My first experience of actually doing a community event on my own, and you assisted me with that. So, that goes down in my memory. I'll never forget it. I constantly remind you of it because that's how special it was. Yeah.
It was.
That's how special it
was.
And
I think somebody named Janae Tate helped.
Of course, Janae. Janae, of course. You did more than help. You got me to that point.
Yeah, but don't sprain your shoulder patting yourself on the back. It's
if you don't speak for yourself, if you don't talk your shit, other people won't.
You go, girl. You go, girl.
That part.
Oh,
I can't stand y'all. Look, Chairman Gilbert, I would love to have you come back if there's issues and stuff that we need broken down. Like, would you come back?
Yeah, I'll come back to it.
Appreciate that, man.
I will.
Appreciate that.
All right, y'all. Let me get out of here. I actually got to cook the turkey necks and the pigeon peas and rice. So,
send me a plate.
Yeah. That part.
Chairman Oliver Gilbert III, thank you so much, brother.
All right. See y'all later.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Wow, we did it. Another one in the books, Janae Tate.
Papa Keith Walcott. Oh, I just gave you government, but
no, that's fine. That's fine.
I know, right? That part. Oh, they don't even know what I just did there.
I know, right?
Yes,
wow. Chairman Oliver Gilbert. First of all, thank you for you. I want to give you credit for making that happen for sure.
I was just teasing PK. I don't even,
Janae, can I pat your back for you, please?
All right.
You got him on. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate that. We appreciate you. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted for the people, and you helped to make that happen. So, strange.
You're hilarious. No, that was actually a good conversation. I love that he got in the hot seat with us and wasn't afraid. And I was hoping he gave that energy. I wasn't, afraid that he wouldn't do that because you know how he is. But still, he could have been like, I want to keep it as an elected official. But he definitely gave us that energy. And I feel like that's what I say when we need elected officials to be relevant and talk to us like the way, that relates to the audience that we're trying to get to vote. the way he broke it down, matter of fact, in layman's terms of like, this is how this actually worked if you want the Metrorail. And that's just, that was one of the hot topics that came out of episode 1. But that's just a real thing where that's practical. My mom catches the bus still to this day and catches the
Wow,
Metro
yeah.
Rail. So being able to be connected as a city, that's really, really important, and people understanding what that process is. So I'm real grateful for the conversation, and I love like our flow, and it felt natural. Like, what you think, Papa Keith? Like, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I just felt like the part when I asked about Miami Gardens and the partying and stuff like that. He dismissed it, but rightfully so. You know what I mean? But he did circle back and say, "Listen, we weren't we weren't talking about him. I was really generalizing with Miami Gardens, and we said Miami Gardens, so it wasn't like I was really trying to say him. You know what I mean? But I like the fact that he circled back and said, "Yeah, I make fun of myself. I dance and I do all these different things, and we need to do more of that." And when he put that into perspective, I really had appreciation for that. But I still wanted to hear a little bit more of maybe why some of the Miami Gardens officials do that. In my personal opinion, listen, sometimes you emulate what works, right? So he's done that in the past and it works for him. So a lot of people look up to him from Miami Gardens and aspire to maybe follow in his footsteps. So maybe they it's a blueprint.
It is, and here's the thing, and I'm not gonna say it was a political answer, but I understand why he answered it the way he did, because if he supports any of the people in Miami Gardens that are dancing and cabbage patching on stages, then and he says something negative about them doing that, then that just doesn't look and reflect well for their campaigns or what they're doing as elected officials in Miami
Right.
Gardens. So I totally understand what he's saying, but he also too made valid points where he's like, these two things can exist at the same time. I
Right,
can do the
right.
Running Man and Nene and all the stuff on stage, but I could also show you where we've brought in development, where we reduce crime, where we did this. So these two
It's
things
true.
exist at the same time.
And then
So
there's always going to be
mhm,
critics, like he said too, in the conversation. Because if you think about it, right, like some person could be like, "Oliver always dancing," and then somebody's like, "Well, Keon Hardeman always so serious all the time." It's no matter what
mhm,
direction you turn in, because they're like opposite in that in that kind of a
yeah.
way. But no matter where you turn, somebody gonna have something to say regardless. So it's better you be comfortable in just who you are. And I think they both are when I mentioned Oliver and Keon Hardeman. So
Yeah.
I get
And
it.
no, and also too, I think just even from the outside looking in, I think because I know more about like the work that elected officials do, I
Hmm.
do think, and I'm not saying that Chairman Gilbert does this at all, because I think he does a good job of showing the policy side, the work side, and the fun side of him. I
Hmm.
would just say to any person who does that as an elected official, and there's a lot of y'all doing it across Dade and Broward, make sure you're showing that other work that you're doing, because it does look crazy if you're doing the Running Man on stage and the next day somebody gets killed in your community. Like, you got to show them, hey, these are the crime stats. This is the work we're doing. Yeah, I was up there twerking, but I also was over here passing this policy to make sure that the crime stays down. That I didn't even, I didn't contribute to that. This is the work I did to combat that. So I think sometimes their messaging isn't as clear, but I also think that's too because we live in this world of media and marketing and we understand messaging. And I think sometimes maybe they don't on certain levels. So that could be a little bit behind
Yeah.
it. But I'm glad you asked the question, and because I also think too, I want our space to be a place where people are like, they're not just, asking the fun, fluffy questions. Like, we're asking stuff that people talk about.
Yeah.
We asking
Yeah.
these real conversations.
According to him, the petty stuff.
The petty stuff. Hey, I said, and I'll be petty, whatever you want to call it. But if what we're doing is going to get more young people engaged into the
Yeah.
civic process
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
voting, then I'll be a petty bitch all day. Y'all voted. If we could show that we can increase votes, I'll be petty. And
and,
here's the
and
thing:
and
we
and
got to
and
be
on top of that,
entertaining.
and on top of that, we're not judging. We asking. We ain't
Yeah.
judging. We ain't judging.
Hmm.
We ain't judging. This was great. Thank you so much. We want to say big thanks to everyone tuning in, especially everyone who tuned into the whole show. We thank you so
Hmm.
much. We thank you for your comments. We thank you for chiming in and letting us know how you feel and finding the importance of what we're talking about in your daily lives. We know that you got a lot going on. We know you got the kids and the family and things to do in your lifestyle, even your hobbies. But understanding that this is equally as important. Like really means a lot to us because, you know, we're taking a lot of time out of our busy schedules because we both have crazy schedules. Talk about what you did today, JT.
I
My
mean, I
goodness.
literally just came home from a conference. It's here in Charlotte. I actually have my senior reporter. She flew in from Miami, and it's a really big deal where, as a publisher, as somebody in a local news space, you don't get a lot of face time with people who actually fund local journalism. So my the grant that I'm a part of, they actually brought publishers, like all of their grantees, people like me who are getting funding from them. They brought community fund, partners and funders. So I get to have face time with people who actually fund the work that I do. And I say, you know what? I'll be there all week, so don't get it twisted. I'm still a girl from Miami. I'm a hustle. I'm gonna get my FaceTime. But today I was like, I'm gonna sacrifice and come and make sure I'm here for the show and I'm on time and we're ready to get the interview ready for the chairman because this means that much to me. Like this
Yes.
work that we're doing means that much to me. And also too, that's the reason why I even got this grant because of the journalistic work and the community focus that I have. So, you know, it's all about balance and sacrifice. And I'm like I said, if we can get just a small percentage of more people engaged in the process, especially millennials and Gen Xers, I think, you know, me being sleep deprived and irritable and us going at it offline, like they don't even know what we
Right.
they don't even know. I was like, PK, we need to reset.
I know. We caught it quick, though. We caught it quick. That was my bad. I was focused on the wrong shit.
No, and that's why I love you for even like bringing me into this process. And I'm always giving you your kudos because you helped me, you know, even build my platform and have more impact. So I'm glad that you had the vision to say, JT, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. That part. Make sure you follow us at That Part Podcast 305 on YouTube, Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. We really need it. And then follow us personally too. We'd love to hear from you, connect with you as well. Definitely follow Janae. Several things I want you to follow with Janae. I want you to follow High Low News. See it scrolling there below. And her personal at Janae Tate. Stalkers not welcome. You know what I mean?
No.
Got two people gonna come for you. So just know that. I got you, Sage. Plus, you can follow me on my social media at Papa_Keith, and please follow the movement. Just Vote, period. It's a social lifestyle movement to try to get you amazing millennials and just borners involved with the voting process. All right. Subscribe to High Low News to get that South Florida hyper local news. How about Chairman ain't know what it was hyper local news?
I know. I'm like, you don't know me for 15 years. You ain't know it was High Low. But the surprising part, a lot of people don't know that. So that's why I've been making an effort now. And I haven't been the best at our messaging as well. So that's interesting. Wait, side note, before we go, I want to say, and I know they like to be behind the scenes, but I have to give a huge thank you to our podcast producer, Tamila Mullings of TVM Business Solutions, and also to our stand-in substitute producer editor,
and our virtual assistant. And
I have to give them to what they helped us with episode 1. Like, man, I have to give people their flowers. I like to give people that publicly. And, you know, me and you have been telling them thank you. But I wanted to say thank you to them for helping us produce and getting the show together and helping us with tech support. Tamila with all her skills. She's a Renaissance woman, and Tontis, who's my fiance, is actually a producer at ESPN, and so he knows his work. So he stepped in to help us out with some things. So Tamila and Tontis, y'all the real MVPs.
We love you both. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So listen, tune in next Wednesday, 8:00. We'll be right here for part 3 of our series that we're doing, man. And I can't wait to unleash that guest.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for vibing out with us. We appreciate you so much.
Bye, y'all.